All right, SongTown. People out there in internet land, welcome. SongTown on Songwriting. I'm here with Clay Mills, Marty Dodson. We've got a topic today that comes up a lot in SongTown.
Yeah.
So people often come to me and go, I just have trouble finishing my songs. So today we're going to talk about 5 reasons you can't finish your songs and how to fix them. All right?
Do you remember back when you didn't know how to finish songs?
Yes.
I remember like trying to write the same song in the beginning, like over and over and over, and just being stuck and throwing my hands up, going like, it's like beating my head against the wall. But
Yeah.
we got some fixes today for you.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one I want to talk about is saying too much too early.
Yeah.
Early in my career, very often I go to my publisher, who was a Hall of Fame songwriter, and say, man, I'm just stuck on this song. And he would say, yeah, it's because you said everything in the first verse and the chorus. There's nothing left to say, you know?
Right.
And he really worked with me on planning out what I want to say so that I pace it out and I don't do that. You know, I don't just go, blah, here's everything at once, you
Right.
know? And so the way I do that, a lot of times the way I fix that is I do a blueprint of my song where I plan out what I want to say in every section. And that way, if somebody throws out a line, I can go, that's a great line, but it belongs in verse 2. You
Yeah.
know, let's don't put it up here because that's kind of stepping on what we said we want to say in verse 2. So I think a little planning about what you're going to say in each section can really help you if that's the problem you have, you know, if you're saying too much too early.
So that's like an author that writes an outline for their book before they do it. I can see a lot of people would feel like if I do a blueprint, what if I get to the second verse and I want to go somewhere else and I get a great idea? Like, how do you
Change your blueprint.
change the blueprint?
Yeah, you're not a slave to the blueprint, but
Yeah.
but the blueprint it just helps you pace things out and know where things go. You know, so you go, okay, mentally I know I'm going to go this place in the second verse so I can save any content that is on that topic for the second
Right.
verse, you know. You know, if you get to the second verse and you come up with a better idea for a better blueprint, just change it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not married to that, but at least at that point you'll kind of know, okay, here's what I've got. Is this new idea similar to what I already had, or is it moving everything forward?
I think for me, the reason I fell into that trap was I was trying to show how good and say everything. Like I wanted to show how good I was right off the bat, you know, so I was overachieving, you know, and I think as we get more accomplished, we learn to be patient with the song and let the song develop. It's kind of like in basketball when they say, let the game come to you instead of trying to force your game into the game. Just let it come to you. And I think songwriting's like that. You have to let the song unfold as it's supposed to and kind of take yourself back, take your ego out of the equation and go, okay, what is best for the song? From a melody standpoint, kind of along the same lines you're talking about, too much too soon. A lot of times I hear melody writers that will write a verse and it'll be great, and then they'll write a chorus and it'll be great, but the two sections don't work together. And I think a lot of times what happens is there's too much melody in the first verse. So if you've got this huge melodic range that's exciting and everything in that first verse, when you get to the chorus, it's almost like a letdown because people are expecting that to go even bigger in the chorus. So I think a lot of times we do too much in the verses. I mean, I can name you song after song from the Beatles to Adele to whoever throughout history where verses literally might be just 3 or 4 note range, like real compacted, you know, and then when it hits the chorus, it explodes. Or it might be the opposite. It might be the pre-chorus has got this big range and then the chorus is real chill. But the main thing is that there's contrast there. And I think a lot of times the majority of writers are trying so hard to make a great melody in the verse that they're not pulling back enough and letting the song take effect, you know?
Yeah. The next one for me, and I see this all the time, is perfectionism. People get stuck because they're like, it has to be perfect. You know, every word has to be perfect. And you know, I try to encourage them to, like, in the creation process, don't worry about it being perfect. Just worry about getting the bones down. And then when you go back to edit, work toward perfection there, but understand that no song's ever going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so you have to let go of that idea and just make it as good as you can make it and then move on. And if you grow as a writer and you want to come back to that song and make it better, that's awesome. But just the idea that every song has to be perfect really kills creativity. And I know people in the comments are probably going to say, well, you should shoot for perfection. And I think you should shoot for
No,
great.
perfection is AI.
Yeah.
If you just want a perfectly written, formatted song, AI.
Yeah.
But that's not what human beings are about. You're
Right.
not going to, if you achieve perfection, then a lot of times it's boring.
Yeah.
Because I'll hear songs that people send us, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with the song.
Mhm.
They're like, tell me how can I make it better? Technically, there's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't have that magic. And
Right.
that is something that's hard to put into an AI computer spitting back code in a way that sounds musical. Like, okay, so you've got the formula down. It's perfect. A robot can play ping pong and kick your ass every time. I don't really want to watch a robot play ping pong.
Right. Yeah, they don't do all that. All those noises. Yeah, I mean, I think we should shoot for our songs to be great, but great doesn't mean perfect.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great songs throughout history that weren't perfect. If you break them down, they've got little errors here and there, but they had heart. And I think perfection is the enemy of heart in a lot of ways. If I'm just trying to make all the words perfect and all the notes perfect, there's a real danger that I'm going to write the heart out of the song.
Yeah, and a lot of people have seen our podcast and they say, well, these rules, they give examples of when rules were broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that you and I, we don't even believe in rules. We believe in tools.
Whoa.
And
I see what you did there.
So, rules are meant to be broken. But tools are something you can apply when it's called for. When the song calls for a certain tool, you can apply that. So I don't even think of in terms of rules or having to do something that boxes you in. I just think that tools are a lot more valuable. And the more tools that we can learn and acquire and put into our arsenal, the better we're going to be at songwriting.
Yeah, absolutely. You got another one for us?
I do. So it kind of fits in with your perfectionism of the last topic, but you've got to keep the flow open. So I really subscribe to that theory that Ed Sheeran talks about, where creativity is like a water faucet. You turn it on, some dirty brown water comes out, but it keeps running, and then before long it gets to clean water. And I believe that when you're trying to be perfect, you block that flow. So it's almost better to just write and write and write and get that flow going, get that rhythm going. And then once you're locked into that flow, then the good stuff will come out. So what makes us great writers is not looking at a verse we just wrote and go, well, that sucks, and how can I make this perfect? You're not looking for that. You're looking for, okay, I just wrote a verse and a chorus. I really like what I did in the chorus. Let me go back and write another verse, Or maybe I just like how I sang the title in the chorus. Let me figure out how to sing the second line. So you're constantly creating and trying things. And what makes us great at writing is when we get to the point where we can recognize this works, that doesn't work. Okay, this will be better here.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can start making those kind of gut decisions rather than trying to just focus on the problem and say, how can I make this perfect?
Yeah, that's great. Number 5 for me is trying to say too much. Like early in my career, there would be songs I would take to my publisher and he would go, man, that first verse could be a whole song and this chorus could be a whole song. But you're just giving me too much information overall,
For lyrics.
Yeah, for lyrics. So I think making sure that you're just talking about one thing in a song. I remember the movie City Slickers, where the guy kept mysteriously going. There's like one thing, and that's what I try to remind myself with my songs. Is like, this song is just about I must be doing something right because I'm getting good feedback from my lover.
Yeah,
that's all it's about. It's not about forever. It's not about looking down the road.
it's not about the girl that I lost before to get me to here.
Yeah, or the broken heart that led me.
Yeah.
It's just about that one thing. And my song "Let Me Down Easy." It's just about, okay, if I fall for you, can you let me down easy? Again, we don't venture into other things. So I think if you feel like you're stuck, a lot of times it's because you've said you're just trying to write 5 songs in one. So if you can break it down and go, okay, what's the essence of what I want to write this one song about, and peel away everything else, a lot of times it becomes more clear of where you need to go with it, because you've simplified your job.
Yeah, and if you're more clear about the emotion of your song, then the audience is more likely to feel that. Whereas if you've got a bunch of conflicting emotions and things going on, the audience is going, well, how do I feel?
Right.
So.
Yeah, how does the singer feel? Wait, a minute ago he felt this way.
Yeah, what's going on here? And often it can just even be one line that's out of character in the lyric that kind of throws off the balance of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content, hit the subscribe button and help us grow. Shout out to Sweetwater Music. It's where Marty and I get all our musical gear. Great people. We'll see you guys around town. Right on.